Hi, my name is Charles R. Smith Jr., and I am the author of Black Jack, the Ballad of Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was a black boxer in the turn of the century, the early 1900s. He fought in the heavyweight division at a time when boxing was very, very young, when it was people, the boxers were just learning what a punch was and how to defend themselves and things like this. And Jack Johnson actually came up with the unique style of protecting himself more, defending himself more, and then punching. Black fighters only fought black fighters and white fighters only fought white fighters. So he beat all the black fighters that he could find, so he wanted to just continue fighting the best, no matter what color they were. The heavyweight champion at the time, Jim Jeffries, happened to be white. Jack Johnson simply wanted to fight him because he was the champion, not because of the color of his skin, but because he was the champion. And it caused a bit of a tizzy because at that time, black fighters just didn't fight white fighters. But it got to the point that fans of the sport said, you know what, these two should fight each other. They're the best. We want to see the best. The idea for Black Jack actually came when I was working on a previous book called 12 Rounds to Glory, the story of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, of course, is a boxer, and I was doing lots of research on him, and the name Jack Johnson happened to pop up. At the time, there also was a PBS documentary that came out called Unforgivable Blackness, done by Ken Burns, on Jack Johnson. And since I had heard the name and I liked Ken Burns' work, I made a point of watching it, and I was really intrigued by Jack Johnson as a person because not only was he a boxer, he knew how to play the bass, he loved to read a lot, even though he didn't make it past 6th grade. He loved to travel, he dressed very nicely, he spent a lot of money, he was very flashy, he was a true individual of his time. Shane Evans actually is a buddy of mine. We've crossed paths throughout the years, speaking in schools and different places, and he and I have hit it off, and as artists always do, we always say, you know, we got to do something together, and this project presented itself because it was somebody that Shane was interested in as much as I was. So in our travels, I happened to be speaking in Kansas City where he lived, mentioned that I was working on Jack, that I had finally, sold the book to Roaring Brook, and he said, well, send it by, I'm curious to see, what it is. And the moment that he saw it, I think by the time I got back to my hotel room, or by the time I got home from my flight the next day, he says, oh man, I have to do this. I did what I did with the words, and then Shane took it to another level with his images. I think probably the thing that I share the most with him is the need for individuality, and I think part of that is me as an artist. I think a lot of artists are that way. That's why our work is different. We don't all create the same way. I really try to focus on what makes me unique in the world as a person, and then take advantage of that with whatever it is that I create.